Hi, my name is Jessica Moss. I'm from Toronto, Canada, and my play is called Funny, the Most Lamentable Comedy of Jane the Fool. Funny is about a woman in the court of King Henry VIII who wants to be a court jester. She is riddled with insecurity. Her best friend is Anne Boleyn, who has fairly recently become queen, and she feels like she might finally have the chance to get on stage when the most popular court jester, Carl the Funny One, sees potential in her and makes her his apprentice. However, with this opportunity comes a downside and brings up a larger problem that Jane, along with Anne, have to navigate from within an oppressive and unjust system. I always want to write things that are funny and that have great female characters and that let women be really funny and dynamic and difficult and show a huge range of emotion. Um, and I love to write things that have a lot of sense of play and theatricality in them. Uh, so one of my favorite movies that I revisit like embarrassingly regularly is an old Danny Kaye musical called The Court Jester. And it also stars a very young Angela Lansbury and is really worth checking out. But it started me thinking, like, who are the historical female comics? And that led to a Wikipedia wormhole on Jane the Fool, who is the only female fool depicted in art in a big portrait of King Henry VIII and his family. And she was a fool for Catherine Parr and Mary I and maybe Anne Boleyn. And I'm also always trying to write about things that I'm working through at the time. And of course, I'm following the Me Too movement very closely. And I find that I get very swept away in the stories of famous people falling from grace, both in like a giddy, gossipy way and in a very sad way of like, what have they done now? And it seemed like there was the real potential to kind of talk about something that was happening now that was occupying a lot of space for me through a kind of ahistorical lens. I really hope that it's funny. I named the play Funny, which might have been a terrible mistake because those review headlines might write themselves. But I hope that audiences think it's really funny in a really like childish, immature way. I hope they can go and giggle at something that is like truly ridiculous and truly like, I can't believe they actually are putting this on stage. And then have a moment where they realize that it's actually about something that's very serious and that while it's clear cut in some ways, it's also bringing up some things that have a lot of nuance and a lot of shades to them. And I think I have a lot of questions about activism and power and justice and comedy and feminism and friendship, and that this play kind of holds all of those things. So if they left and then after laughing had those questions and had something to talk about with the people that they came to the show with, that would be a tremendous win.